Chuck, it is very strange to think about, but here you are in, the second week of the season, and it's conference play. Wednesday, the Tusculum Pioneers roll into town.
It is crazy. It used to be where you sort of had a preseason schedule in November, December, in preparation for a conference schedule to start January and February. But with the way things are going today, across the board, Division I, Division II, right on down through, conferences are growing in terms of number of teams or number of institutions in conferences, and we're at a point now where we have 22 of our 26 regular season games are conference games, and there's just no way to do it other than to stretch it out over the November, December, January, February months. So it is what it is. I guess thankfully we've got a veteran squad and an established style of play, and I would like to think that we have an advantage playing early this particular season.
Yeah.
In the future, that may not be the case, but right now I think we do have an advantage, and so we're not that worried about it, honestly.
You look at Tusculum 1-3, probably not indicative of how good they are if you just look at their record. When they came into the gym for the Carson-Newman Classic, I was expecting sort of a plodding, methodical offense with careful shots, and here the Pioneers are racing up and down the court, averaging 86 points a game, which is fourth in the league. Just how different is Michael Jones' club this year?
I'm going to tell you, I've not seen anybody else, obviously, but they are – if there's another team in our conference that has completely gone to the opposite end of the spectrum in terms of style of play, I don't know who it'd be, because Tusculum has done it. I mean, they were last in our league last year in three-point field goal attempt, three-point field goals made. They were low scoring. You said plodding, methodical. you called it right. This year they are high energy. They're gonna shoot quick early. They're gonna shoot a lot of threes. They're very aggressive to attack off the dribble. They're playing multiple defensive packages. They're completely different. And the one thing in particular I noticed about them, and I actually told Mike at our class this weekend, they have such a sort of a positive energy. They seem like they're having fun. Those guys seem like they've got a purpose. They're not just out there going through the motions. And so, that 1-3 record means nothing to me. I know that the three teams they've lost to, Augusta State, Lander, and Barton, are all three high-caliber programs. And so that record absolutely means nothing. It'll take our best game Wednesday in Holt Fieldhouse to get this thing done.
It has been declared by the Mossy Creek Maniacs, blue on everything. They want all blue in the stands for the game, so no orange if you're going to come out just because of Tusculum school colors. But what difference can the crowd make in a game like that, a rivalry game where you took two from the Pioneers last season?
Well, it is a rivalry game, and our older guys, our veterans, know what that means. Tusculum, Lincoln Memorial, these local East Tennessee programs where they've been playing games longer than any of us have been alive. Those guys get it. Hopefully our new guys will understand the significance of these games, not only to our students now, but to former Eagles from the 50s, 60s, 70s, 80s, and so forth. So what do the Maniacs mean? They mean a great deal. We love Holt Fieldhouse. The acoustics in that gym, the dynamic of that gym. When you put a bunch of maniacs in there and they get loud and rowdy and want to play a role as a sixth man, it can happen. So we're excited to know that they've got a little fire in their belly, and they're wanting to come out and strut around and help us on Wednesday.
Addison Flynn is Tusculum's leading scorer, comes in averaging 16 a game. What's impressive for him, 56% from the field, 56% from three. What's it take to slow down their leading scorer?
First of all, we've got to find him in transition. He's very fast. He is a senior, and so he's playing every game. Every time he plays, it's one less game in his career, and he knows that the sands are sort of passing through the hourglass, so to speak. We've got to find him in transition. He's got a very quick shot. He's got good range. we've got to, once we do find him, we've got to keep him from getting his shot up. We've got to make sure that he puts the ball on the floor, turn him into a dribbler. But I've noticed he's leading them in scoring. But it's one thing I have noticed. I think he's probably the emotional leader of that team right now. He seems to be very much in control of their excitement and their passion to play. And Ben, I've got to give him credit. The 2 times I watched him play this weekend in person, he really did a great job of amping up and sort of keeping the team focused and fired up.
Case in point, a 60-point first half against Trevecca Nazarene right out of the gate in the tournament. Most points that a Tusculum team had scored in the first half since 2005 against Carson-Newman. Just break down their transition game. What is it that enables them to get the ball up and down the court so quick?
Well, it starts with their guard play. Jalen Walker, a first-year kid there. He's actually a transfer, but he's fast, he's quick, he's confident. He has a goal to get it to the paint. Today in practice, we were talking to our guys about some of the details of his play. He's right-handed. If he goes right, he's going to try to initiate contact, draw the foul, and get and one. I saw him finish 3 or 4 old-fashioned and ones this weekend in our classic. If he goes left, he's not as aggressive, and he tends to use a jump stop, shot fake once, twice, 3 times, get you in there, and tries to draw the contact that way. So. It starts with him. He's the motor. He's the engine. We got to find him in transition, keep him in front. Our guys know that we've got to double gap him to keep him there. He may shoot a 3, but that's really not what he wants to do. His other mate besides Addison Flynn is Darius Carter, and Carter's a lefty. He's a sophomore. He's a passionate guy. He desperately wants to come to Holt Fieldhouse Wednesday and make a mark and I guess, prove something. And very much like Walker, he's fast, he's quick, he's aggressive. He's more of a driver than a shooter. We've got to find him in transition. We've got to, single, double gap him, keep him in front, not bite on his fakes. He tends to want to really aggressively shot fake to set up his drive. But we got to keep him in front as well. And I think if you can keep Walker, Carter, and Flynn if you can keep them in control to some degree, I think that the rest of the team will – it's like you cut off the snake head and the snake dies. I think they're the snake head in this case.
That is not to say that there's not another one waiting in the wings, though. In my mind, the most impressive player that Tusculum had last year was Keith Jumper. And the battles between he and Carson Brooks were something to behold. His numbers haven't been as impressive this season, but still certainly something waiting in the wings.
That whole situation, Mike Jones and their staff know their team and their program better than anybody. Mm-hmm. Okay, so I don't question what's going on. But he was the South Atlantic Conference Freshman of the Year last year.
Yeah,
I remember Shane Williams and I talked multiple times. And we were like, why can't we find a Keith Jumper? And he, actually what's funny about it, former player Kevin Hare, Jumper is sort of from down in his neck of the woods. I called Kevin Hare. I was like, listen, Kevin, you got to keep us up to date, man. When a kid like that surfaces, we need to know about it. So. I don't know what's going on there, but his minutes are down. He's not starting for them. His production is down compared to what he did last year. Is it a sophomore slump? I don't know. I guess if anything, maybe I'm glad that he is in a sophomore slump. Maybe he can stay in that slump till Thursday. But he's a talent, 6'7", 6'8", versatile, very talented kid.
A weird matchup too. Rule changes have done some bizarre things. To the way that a basketball game can be played. Carson-Newman seems to be handling it better than most. Fouls are up across the board except for at Mossy Creek, where Carson-Newman's averaging 14 fouls a game compared to a Tusculum team that averages 30 and played in a 2-hour, 30-minute game against Trevecca Nazarene that saw 95 combined free throws. Yeah. How do you adapt to a game that might be extended just because of the nature of the way that Tusculum plays the game?
Well, obviously our scheme really, really helps us. It's funny. I've had a couple different coaches now have said to me, were you aware that these changes were coming, and when you all made the decision to be exclusively a zone team, were you aware and you guys were out ahead of this thing? And I was like, man, this is nothing short of, I guess, a miracle, because we had, there was no insider trading here. We had no idea what was going on. We just sort of happened to luck into it. So I think our scheme helps us. The nature of our zone helps protect our guys. It helps contain the ball. And of course, if you can contain the ball, then your fouling should be less. The other thing that's happened is we've made a huge deal about it to our guys. There have been a few major things that have changed this game. The 3-point line, the shot clock. This fouling thing is the emphasis on protecting the ball. I think has potentially the same kind of effect. But we've made a great emphasis of that to our players, and our guys have really bought into it and accepted it. The real question is, will the officiating will it lessen as the year goes on?
Yeah.
And that's the thing I wonder. I mean, I hope that we stay like this, because I think it really helps us. I mean, you mentioned the foul differential. We're 14, Tusculum's 30, whatever. I mean, that's pretty significant.
That's first and last in the
league.
league.
That's pretty significant. So, I mean, we'd like it to stay like that, but at the end of the day, who knows what's going to happen. We'll just keep on focusing on the things that we can control and hope that things stay the same.